At 3:12 a.m., deep inside a command room floating in the dark waters of the Gulf, a single line of data changed everything. It didn't look like much, just a faint anomaly buried beneath layers of scanned terrain. But within seconds, every analyst in the room stopped breathing because this wasn't supposed to exist. Hours earlier, a U.S. strike had already turned an Iranian facility into rubble. Satellite confirmation was clear. The target was gone, or at least that's what everyone believed. Now the sensors were telling a different story. Something was still alive, 400 feet below the destruction, and it wasn't just anything, it was radioactive. Within minutes, the conclusion hit like a shockwave. The real facility had never been destroyed. It had been hiding underneath the fake one the entire time. What looked like a victory was actually a decoy, and the real target was still operational. That changed the mission instantly. This was no longer a strike, this was a race against something far more dangerous. As the data spread through command networks, the entire operation escalated. This wasn't just about destroying infrastructure anymore. This was about erasing something buried deep inside a mountain. But there was a problem. You can't just bomb a mountain, especially not one designed to survive it. The hidden site was protected by layers of natural rock and engineered tunnels, positioned in a way that could deflect or absorb most conventional strikes. Even worse, the surrounding terrain worked like a shield, distorting radar, blocking signals, and hiding movement. It was the perfect defensive environment, which meant one thing: a direct assault would fail. So instead of rushing in, the strategy changed. This would require precision, coordination, and something even more powerful than weapons: timing. Within an hour, multiple forces were activated across the region, not as separate units, but as one connected system. In the skies, stealth aircraft began moving toward the target zone, flying low, silent, and invisible to traditional detection systems. Far behind them, heavier assets waited. They wouldn't move until the path was clear, because if they were detected even once, the entire mission would collapse. Iran, however, was already watching, but not in the way most people expect. They didn't turn on their radars. They didn't broadcast signals. They stayed silent. Instead, they tracked something far more subtle: heat. Using passive detection systems hidden inside the mountains, they followed the thermal signatures of incoming aircraft, watching their movement without ever revealing their own position. It was a trap, and it was already closing. The first sign came without warning. A missile erupted from a hidden position deep within the terrain. No radar lock, no signal, just impact. An escort aircraft barely had seconds to react. It deployed countermeasures, pulling into an aggressive maneuver, but the environment worked against it. The blast came close enough to tear through its systems. Within moments, the aircraft was falling, and suddenly, the mission changed again. Now there was a pilot on the ground, in hostile territory. Everything accelerated. Support aircraft dropped lower, engaging threats directly. Gunfire lit up the mountainside as hidden positions were exposed and destroyed one by one. Explosions carved through rock formations, collapsing entrances and forcing enemy units into the open. But even as the fight intensified, the main objective remained untouched, still buried, still active, still dangerous. That's when the final phase began. High above, two aircraft that had remained invisible the entire time started moving, slow, silent, untouchable. They had only one job and only one chance to do it, because what they carried wasn't just a weapon, it was the only weapon capable of reaching the target. The release happened in complete silence. No explosion, no flash, just two massive objects cutting through the air at extreme speed. They hit the mountain, unstoppable force, and for a few seconds, nothing happened. Then, the Earth responded. Deep beneath the surface, pressure built rapidly as the weapons forced their way through layers of rock, tunneling toward the hidden structure. And when they finally reached it, everything collapsed. The explosion didn't break outward, it went inward, through tunnels, through chambers, through every hidden path inside the mountain. What had been designed as protection became a trap. The deeper the structure, the more destructive the effect. Within moments, the entire underground network was gone, crushed under its own shield. But the operation wasn't over, because retaliation came fast. Missiles launched, drones surged, targets across the region lit up. It was a last attempt to respond, a final strike. strike. But this time, the system was ready. Intercepts happened in layers: high altitude, mid-range, close defense. One by one, incoming threats disappeared before reaching their targets. The sky cleared, the signals faded, and just like that, it was over. No announcement followed, no confirmation, no headlines, just silence. Because operations like this aren't meant to be seen, they're meant to be finished. But one thing became clear: the battlefield has changed. It's no longer about who has the strongest weapons, it's about who sees first, who adapts faster, and who turns information into advantage before the other side even realizes the fight has begun. Because in modern warfare, the real strike doesn't start with an explosion, it starts with a discovery. And by the time the world notices, it's already too late.